Baker Street, George Rafferty. An absolute honor to have this gentleman in the studio.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.K.
RadioOne.
Commander Pratap Singh Mehta, an Indian Navy veteran, behavioral skill coach and author, is in studio. A gentleman who is an expert in naval aviation. He was in the 1971 Indo-Pak War in which he fought in, and he's written the Rajputana Chronicles, Guns and Glories, which includes some nuggets of amazing Indian history. He's also somebody who served on the legendary INS Vikrant. He served on it, and the significance of Navy Day and Indian Navy Week is something that he's going to explain to us. Let's really salute the forces with this. Commander Saab, welcome to the show. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you, Rishi, for having me here.
Reminiscing on past naval wars, it's time to do that. How did the Indian Navy rise to the occasion? Let's do a bit of history here.
Sure. I'm very proud to have been a part of the Indian Navy. And let me tell you, Indian Navy has got a glorious past. And if you look back to the history from the time of Shivaji, Chhatrapati Shivaji, way back in 1684, Shivaji was the first one to have had built a gun-mounted ship, and Kanoji Angre was its commander, known as Darya Sarang, or the first admiral of the Indian Navy. And of course, from time to time, the Navy's pattern changed from East India Company to the British rule, and finally in 1934 it was known as Royal Indian Navy. And
this is wonderful. I mean, I had no clue that the Maratha Empire and Shivaji in 1684 was one of the architects. From 1934, the Royal Indian Navy, and eventually in 1950, I think the term royal was dropped. Yeah,
correct. The term royal was dropped when the constitution, we became a Republic of India.
Lead us through significant wars and operations by the Navy. Anything that they were involved with significantly.
Yes, 1961, the India annexed Goa from Portuguese, and that was the first battle Indian Navy fought against Portuguese Navy. And it's a famous Portuguese ship, Albuquerque, scared of the Indian Navy, ran away from the scene.
Wow.
Yeah. And 65, of course, war, there was no significant thing. 1971 Indo-Pak War, which was for the liberation of Bangladesh, was very, very significant for Indian Navy.
Would you, in that particular war, I mean, you were a young officer. I think you had been commissioned in 1970, isn't it?
Absolutely right. You're right.
So you must have amazing memories. I mean, like I have memories of my first radio show. You would have fleeting memories, or more than fleeting memories, of operations in that Indo-Pak War and the liberation of Bangladesh.
Yes. It was 4th of December, the Indian Navy carried out attack on Karachi Harbour. And one of my colleague, Commodore I.J. Sharma, whom I have a daily walk, he was commanding INS Nirgat. And he tells me a wonderful story how he sank Pakistan naval ship Khyber. It was amazing. When you hear this even today, it's absolutely mesmerizing. Mm-hmm. After hearing their losses on 6th of December, it's a lovely story. You must listen to it. On 6th of December, Pakistan Navy got into panic, raised an alarm, and they carried out an attack by their Air Force. And unfortunately, it was on their own ship called Zulfikar, which it was hilarious. Pakistan Air Force carrying out attack on their own naval ship, thinking it's Indian naval ship.
This is just a sign of panic, wasn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. It was panic, and in the heat of the panic on the east coast, Pakistan submarine Ghazi came very close to the harbor of Visakhapatnam.
Vizag at the time.
Yeah. Vizag at that time, and it was sunk off Vizag by Indian Navy.
Also, on the 8th of December, if I remember correctly, there was a sinking. I mean, would you give us the details of that?
Oh yes, it's very interesting. INS Kukri was patrolling off Saurashtra coast, and in the night we got an information. I was in INS Krishna as a trainee officer, cadet, and we got the news that naval ship Kukri has sunk, and there were no signs of any survivor. And immediately after 5 or 6 hours, there was a big bang on the bows of my ship.
Wow.
And we thought we have also been torpedoed now. There was almost panic-like situation. The action stations were announced. People came on deck with their life jacket, ready to abandon in case the situation permits. And it was around 5 o'clock in the morning, and within 10 to 15 minutes as the daylight was coming in, we saw a big huge whale floating dead on our starboard beam.
Wow.
Because when we heard the bang, the ship let off all its depth charges and anti-submarine ammunition, not knowing exactly, because the whale underwater almost sounds like a submarine, small submarine. And knowing the Kukri has just sunk, we couldn't have taken a chance. And we managed to kill a whale on that. It was very interesting, but very scary event that happened to our ship.
Rick Astley, never going to give you up. Commander Pratap Singh Mehta, Indian Navy veteran, talking about naval aviation, the 1971 Indo-Pak War. And up ahead, a wonderful chronicle that he's written on Rajputana. The Rajputana Chronicles, Guns and Glories. My name is Hrishi.